Good evening, and welcome to this regular meeting of the Helotes City Council. It is June 23rd, 2016, and we're underway at 7 p.m. Before we get started with the agenda, I would like to ask if you have a cell phone or other electronic communication device, please be sure it's turned to off, silent, or vibrate. And kicking off the agenda tonight, we'll open with the invocation, and Councilman Member Blue will be handling that tonight, and then we'll have the pledge to the Texas, American and Texas flag. So if you would stand for the invocation and pledges, please.
Heavenly Father, as we gather here this evening, we are thankful for your presence as we contemplate issues that will shape the future of our community. Help us to strike the right balance between the short and long-term needs of our community so that we don't put one before the other. We ask for guidance as we work through the agenda items. We also ask that you protect our police, firefighters, and all of our public servants as they work daily to make our community better for all of us. These things we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, next up is our open session, which is also known as Citizens to be Heard. And we do have one person sign up to speak to council tonight, and it's Pedro Ramos. If you would, you have 3 minutes from the time you state your name and address. So if you would speak into the mic, state your name and address, and then let us know what you have to say.
Okay, my name is Pedro Ramos. My address is 10943 Spiller Road, San Antonio 78254. Like I said, my name is Pedro Ramos. This here is my beautiful wife, Crystal Ramos, and our soon-to-be son, Ezra. A little bit about myself: I'm a disabled veteran, disabled Army veteran, served 4 years as a tanker attached to an infantry unit, and I was mostly stationed in Germany. After I also served 15 months in Iraq, I separated from the military in 2009. A couple years later, I met my wife, and while living in Southern California, we slowly became involved in the art community. After participating in several art events, we came across KTCA, Keeping the Culture Alive. After our first event with them, we were convinced that this was the crowd that we wanted to hang out and support. The wife and I moved to San Antonio last September, and when we arrived, I knew I wanted to get involved and make an impact in my new community. As a side note, I want to add that art to me is more than just canvases, paints, brushes, sculpturing, design, etc. Art to me is a way of life. After deployment, I had a really hard time readjusting. Art literally saved my life. I am here today to share my passion with you. I am here today to introduce to you this amazing event we are bringing all the way from Southern California. I am here to personally invite each and one of you to our event, Wine to Coffee Art Walk, taking place every third Saturday of the month between Wine 101 and the Cracked Mug Coffee House. Our first event took place June 18th, and I believe it was a real success. Our next event will take place July 16th, and I really hope to see all of you there. Whether as an artist or as a guest, we want you to come enjoy all the amazing work from our local artists, and most importantly, show them our support. Of course, there will also be wine, food, coffee, live music, raffles, and much, much more. We think of ourselves as more than just a simple art event. We are here to get involved with the community and share our passion with all of our neighbors. We have major plans for the future that will involve workshops, possible scholarships, paid travels to California for artists to participate in our event in Montebello. I encourage everyone to stay in touch with us and find out what we're up to. I promise whatever it is, it will be for the better of our community. Our mission is simple yet complex. KTCA searches high and low for individuals who have a vision. Our goal is to help those individuals by providing the necessary tools in order to make that vision become a reality. We give our communities a voice. we give our communities an identity. Art is a language without barriers. Our mission is simple yet complex. Build a stronger community by keeping the culture alive. Thank you.
Thank you. Pedro, we appreciate you bringing your event to Helotes and bringing some art events especially. A little culture in Helotes is always welcome. So welcome to the community, and we wish you great success with your event.
Thank you.
And to you, congratulations on your family.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on our agenda is our consent agenda. And in our form of meeting, such as we're in tonight, a consent agenda is a grouping of multiple items that are considered fairly routine, not only by staff, but by me. And they're presented to council with the intent. I was timing you. You were good. I never understand, I put it on silent, but it still does that. I guess that doesn't matter, but appreciate it. But getting back to the consent agenda, they're grouped together with the intent of the council with one motion and one second being able to approve these multiple items. However, if a council member has a question on one of the items, we can address that question. If they would like that item discussed in more detail, they can request to have the item pulled from the agenda and moved down into the regular individual items. So I would ask council on consent agenda items 3 through 5, are there any questions or a request to pull any of the items? None? Okay, then I would look for a motion and a second to approve consent agenda items 3 through 5.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda items 3 through 5 as written.
We have a motion from Fredericks. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second from Blue. Again, no discussion being required. We'll call the question. All in favor of approving consent agenda items 3 through 5, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. Consent agenda items 3 through 5 are hereby approved. Going to item number 6, this is an individual item, discussion of an action on a request by MI Homes of San Antonio for flag and freestanding real estate signage on their project north of us on Highway 16. So to open discussion and take action, if we could have a motion and a second, please.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we discuss and take action on item number 6.
We have a motion from Buys. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
A second from Blue. Bert, it's your motion, so you'll be up first on discussion. And again, this is item number 6.
I agree with P&Z's recommendation that we deny the 6 flags and allow the one that the code allows. I just had a question about the size of the submitted sign. It says it's larger than allowed by code. Code allows what, 20? Is that correct? For that sign?
No, sir. Code allows,
It would be more than 20.
code allows 40 square feet, and the sign that's proposed is 64 square feet,
Oh, okay,
if you do not include the legs at the bottom.
okay. That's what, okay, I'm looking at, okay, it's 64, so it's over by 4 square foot, right?
No, it's over by 24 square feet.
It's 40.
Oh, it's 40,
40
okay.
by code.
Okay.
It's
Well, then,
64.
I agree with P and Z's recommendation that, to approve that sign and bring that one into code also to 40 square feet.
May,
Yeah, I don't think they recommended bringing it into 40, did they? They
Planning and zoning recommended to approve it as is.
as is,
I thought
since it's so far off the
Oh,
road
wait a
is their
minute, okay, I'm
language.
sorry, I'm reading it wrong then. Okay,
Yeah.
they want this, they wanted to allow it.
They wanted
Yes.
to allow that sign,
Yes.
and they did not want to allow any of the flag signs.
Okay. Well, if they, I'll go with that then. I'll go with their recommendation on it.
Yeah,
I
they-
thought they wanted to bring it down to 40.
They say it's going to be off the Bandera Road quite a ways, but it looks like it's going to be right there, the same distance as the gate will be. But
Okay.
it'll be a temporary sign during their project development.
Okay.
Alex, anything from
Thank you,
you?
Mr. Mayor. I concur as well. I think that the P and Z gave it a lot of thought, and their unanimous decision to recommend disapproving the poles, which really aren't exactly going to be used for flags other than advertising. And then also with the real estate sign, again, that being temporary, I think that's fine. The other thing about the poles was that there was no intention on their part to leave them there once the development is put up, because that was asked by planning and zoning, are you going to leave them there and allow the neighborhood to take over and put an American flag or Texas flag? And their answer was, well, of course not. Those are our poles. We're taking them with us when we go. So they're strictly advertising poles. And they also already have two poles, one with a Texas flag, one with an American flag, and I think their own corporate flag in front of the model home. So these would be 6 additional ones, and I concur with the recommendations as P and Z recommended to us.
Okay, anything else? Paul?
No, I concur with P and Z and my fellow council members.
Okay. Is that it? No more discussion? Okay, so approving this agenda item, we're going along with P and Z's, Planning and Zoning Commission's recommendation of allowing one flag as per our code of ordinances, and not allowing the other 5, and then allowing the sign as proposed, correct?
Yes.
That's the motion?
That's the motion.
Okay. No other discussion? All in
Before,
favor?
before you call the question, are you saying that you are approving the freestanding real estate sign as presented?
Yes.
And then you are allowing one of the 6 poles along Far Reaches Lane? Or are you talking about the corporate flag that's in front of the model home already?
This would be an additional one, I believe.
Weren't they,
Because that is not what P and Z recommended.
what did they recommend? I wasn't aware they had flagpoles in front of the model home.
And P and Z wasn't either.
I
brought
wasn't either, but they recommended none of the 6 flagpoles and the freestanding real estate as presented.
Okay, so what they're saying here, I read it differently, that there would be one of the 6 flags. So they recommended none of the 6. Well, you said there are 3 flagpoles.
Currently, yes.
There's currently 2 flag poles in front of the model home. One has an American flag and then an MI Homes flag. The other has a Texas flag. Those are further in, probably 100 feet further
By the
in
model-
from where
by the
these are
model
going to
home?
be. Right in front of the model home, right next to a little monument.
So was,
These are 3 on each side of the entry road.
right, I saw that.
Right there by the, actually a little bit off of Bandera Road.
So to understand what planning and zoning was intending, if there are 2 flagpoles by the model home, were they saying only one of those?
No, they didn't review anything in front of the model home, only the 6 along the road closer to Bandera Road.
Okay, and they did not approve any of the 6?
That is correct.
Okay, so this motion then would deny those 6 flags as requested,
that's-
but allow the freestanding sign?
Okay, I still want to allow one poll, like I presented. I thought that, I think that's fair, and then another thing too, it's temporary, as Councilmember Blue said. I don't see a problem with that.
Right, but you said you were going along with planning and
Well, I
zoning's
didn't,
recommendation.
that's the way I read it. I mean, like you read it.
Yeah, and remember, temporary is probably going to be at least a couple of years till they get built out. Okay, so would you please state your motion with clarity so that we'll all understand what it is you're proposing?
Well, can we open up for discussion again?
Sure.
Okay. My deal is what I just said. I would like to allow one poll out front, that, like I thought they were going to do. I'd like to hear what the other council members say to that before I change the motion.
Okay. So you're saying disallow 5, but leave 1?
Yes.
Do you have a specific location for that one?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Had they not had the two in front of the model home, I might have said, yes, they can have a flag up there, a flag pole up there. But I don't know that, given the fact that they already have the flag poles where they're gonna put in the US and Texas flags, that I would be in favor of allowing them to have advertising flags, is what this is basically, because they're not planning to put a US flag on it, they're not planning to put a Texas flag, or even a corporate logo flag. They're just planning to put a 8-foot tall, 3-foot wide thing that says MI Homes on it, and it's not even a flag shaped like a typical flag would be on a flagpole.
And those are back away from the gate in the vicinity of the model home.
Yes.
You know, 3 will be in front of the model home proposed, and 3 would be across the street. So I would think that in this motion, if you're going to have your motion include one of those flags, you would want to look at that site plan and select which one of those locations you would include in your motion.
Okay.
These three
Right.
being the model home, these 3 being on a vacant lot.
Okay.
But still with this question, my recommendation, or my preference would be not to allow the 6 and allow them to keep actually, I would allow them to keep the 2 existing flagpoles, because they both have one US, one Texas.
Right.
That's what I would prefer,
Well,
to
he-
let those 2 stay.
Yeah, his motion right
Motion.
now is to allow the 1, so
Well,
you're
okay,
done
I
with.
thought we were opening it for discussion.
Yeah, we
I'd
are.
like- I'd like
That's
to
what
hear
we're doing.
what.
Well, we
okay.
are, but are you done with yours?
Yes.
Okay. Alex? You,
My discussion was to not allow all 6.
okay.
That was my understanding, is we wouldn't allow the 6, and the flagpoles that existed would be the flagpoles in front of the model.
Okay.
That was my understanding, and I was kind of going by that that's what I inferred from P and Z, is they did not want any of the 6 flagpoles in front, whether they had the flagpoles
Right.
down by the
Well-
model home.
Well,
That
I'm-
was my understanding.
I'll go ahead and make my motion with not allowing any of the polls.
Okay. So, gonna allow the 2 existing flagpoles with the American and Texas flag, but not these temporary flags. Okay, so,
I'm sorry, are there 2 flagpoles or 3?
said,
Okay.
he said
Okay,
2.
all right. Down there, I didn't pay attention. I saw
Okay. So on this agenda item, the motion would be then to deny the request for the 6 temporary advertising flags, but to allow the freestanding sign as submitted. Okay? So we have a motion and a second, and that's the way the motion's gonna read. Anything else? We'll call the question. All in favor of denying the 6 and approving the freestanding sign, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. So you guys got that? Okay. Next, we move on to number 7. This is discussion and action on a sign requested in Old Town for B Daddy's Barbecue. So again, if we can have a motion and a second.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we discuss and take action on item number 7.
We have a motion from Fredericks. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Blue. So Paul, it's your motion, if you would, open discussion.
Again, I kind of agree with the P and Z. I think that that sign is kind of necessary as a wayfinding sign due to the location of the business, and the entrance is kind of on the backside, which is contrary to what you kind of think when you walk up to the business. So I'm okay with it, since I think it's needed as a wayfinding sign, and it's fairly small, 3x4, kind of unobtrusive. So I am okay with that sign.
Okay, just for clarity, for discussion and for the motion, the Planning and Zoning Committee, I noticed their proposed location was 10 feet out from that railing, which is essentially in front of the medical office, and P and Z had a stipulation on there that they approved it, recommended approval, as long as it was closer to that railing. So I was figuring 12 to 24 inches would not interfere with people using the railing as a handrail, yet it wouldn't be right in front of that medical office. So would you entertain including in your motion the proposed location, or the location that you would see, that it would not be 10 feet out, but something more in the line of 12 to 24 inches from that railing?
Sure.
With about 12 or 24 or what? No greater than 24?
No greater than
No
24.
greater than 24. So the motion then is to approve the sign with no more than 24 inches from that railing. Okay, Alex, it was your second?
Yes, I concur with that, and that actually was a concern by planning and zoning, and the owner was present at the meeting and said, yeah, it does kind of put it way off in front of the other building, and their only concern with where they placed it was that it could still be seen over the railing, and since it wasn't going to be too tall, they were worried that it would be blocked, but the railing is nothing but one little
Right.
1.5-inch bar, so I don't see the problem. I think that that is a very good placement of that. It would keep things from, keep it from getting in anybody's way should they walk around there anyway. And I completely agree with that addition to the recommendation.
Yeah, and according to that drawing, it's going to be 36 inches from finished grade, and that railing is probably, I know it's no more than 36 inches, so it'll be flush with the bottom of the sign at the worst. Okay?
I agree.
Bert, any comments?
I agree that the sign is okay, as long as it's, not more than 24 inches. I just have one question. Is it double-sided?
Yes.
It is showing double-sided.
It is? Where does it say that?
Well, the arrow's pointing the same way, but I can't imagine that.
It is double-sided.
It is
Yeah, it's
double-sided?
double-sided.
Okay. That's, I just didn't see it anywhere in the permit
the arrow does.
application or anything.
Yeah, the arrow does point the same way in both pictures, but it would be a halfway wayfinding sign if it was only one-sided.
Okay. So they just got to get the arrow right?
Yeah, correct.
Gotcha. That's good. That's all I had, sir.
Any follow-up, Paul?
No, sir.
Alex?
No, sir, that's all.
Bert, any
No, sir.
follow-up? Okay, we'll call the question. All in favor of approving this sign as submitted, the only change being that instead of 10 feet from the railing, it will be no more than 24 inches or 2 feet. That being said, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. On number 8, this is an annual requirement that we have from Bear Appraisal District about their budget. The only action we would have to take is if we would, any member of the council would want to disapprove the budget. If there's no desire on any council member's part to disapprove the budget, then there's no need for a motion. If we do not get a motion on this item, it will just cease to exist and we'll go to the next item. So is there a motion to disapprove Bear Appraisal District's budget? No motion being heard, and it looks like no motion's coming. We will go ahead and send them our notification that we approve their budget. That moves us on to number 9, which is discussion and action on acceptance of grants of easements associated with memorandum of understandings for our linear park. And so we would look to open this with a motion and a second, please.
Mayor, make a motion, we discuss and take action on item 9.
We have a motion from Byes. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Fredericks. And we included all of the information. Would you like for Rick to do a quick rundown on this, or just open discussion and have him available for questions? What do you want?
I've read through this stuff. I'm good.
Okay, let's just open discussion then on this, and Bert, it's yours to open.
Okay, as far as I know, what I've read, these are perpetual easements. That's correct. That means forever.
That is correct.
So, and this is a needed deal so we could get our linear park moving forward. I'd just like to say thanks to OLG and the other 3 citizens. Well, it's more than 3 citizens. I have a couple of husband and wives, 2 other people. Well, there's actually 1, 2, 3, the 4 citizens that are granting us these easements so we can get our park to move forward. I'd like to thank them very much for allowing us to do this. And I'm for the agenda item.
Okay. Paul?
On these fences that they're requesting, I guess I'm just trying to get my mind around them. Are they just in front of the trail? They're not going to go up into the property?
They are along the easement
Just on
line.
the property line that separates the easement from their property.
Okay. Okay. That's all I had. Just congratulations on getting these. especially
Rick
to
worked
donate.
really, really hard. Tough negotiations.
Actually, I mean, the person that should be thanked for this is Glenn. He did most of the work on all of these, so.
Glenn and Rick. But mostly Glenn.
Mostly Glenn. As a matter of fact, a lot of these people didn't even want to talk to me, so.
Alex,
I have no comment, I'm favor
no comment?
I just, can I ask another question?
Sure.
On the fences, there, one of them is different, that's to match up with the fence that the
existing-
property, the existing property?
Correct, and the other two are wire.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay, no further discussion or questions on agenda item number 9. We will ask the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries. The easements are hereby approved by council, and we will take care of the follow-up paperwork on that. And by golly, that finishes our agenda. So if there's no objections, we will adjourn our meeting. No objections? We're adjourned at 7:25. Thank you for your interest.